And well met, fellow ladies, lords, and non-binary royalty. It's your fantastically fabulous friend Luna here. Just a few quick things before we get started. The Imagination Campaign is a fan-made project based upon Thomas Sanders' YouTube series, Sandersides. More specifically, what if the characters of the series played D&D? We do not claim any ownership over the Sandersides characters or any of the intellectual properties of Dungeons & Dragons. They belong to their creators, Thomas Sanders and the Wizards of the Coast. With all that droll disclaimer stuff out of the way, a smaller note from myself. I play the part of Roman, who is the DM of the Imagination Campaign. This is my first time DMing a campaign, and at the time of recording, this was only my third or fourth time playing D&D at all. That being said, the campaign is mostly homebrew, and I will be taking liberties with some of the rules and mechanics of D&D. In addition, the campaign is more story-geared than combat and mechanic-based, so if any of this isn't your cup of tea, there's a good chance the campaign isn't for you. And if that's the case, no hard feelings. Now, I've talked way too long for an introduction, so without further ado, I bid you all welcome into the Imagination. Well, hi guys, thank you for joining me in this game.
Patton
No
dragged
problem.
me here.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I have no idea how I agreed to that.
Because you love me, and yeah.
Of course, Roman. We all love you very much. This will be a wonderful experience.
Aw, thank you.
Who invited him?
I did. I did. He
What?
asked if he could play.
Roman, we talked about this.
Yeah, but he wanted to play.
Well, you know what? The more the merrier.
See? Patton gets it.
I do believe 4 players leads to a more easily balanced campaign, from the research I saw anyway.
See,
Would you
guys
rather-
realize that?
Would you rather Remus play with us?
Okay, yeah,
Nope.
He's staying cool.
Yeah, I'm not inviting my brother to this game. That's not happening.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Alright, we've established who's here. Everyone but Remus, basically. Because Remus. But yeah, do you want to introduce yourselves and what you're playing as?
I'll introduce myself. I'm Patton, and I'm playing a character named Hart, and he's a tabaxi, and his full name of Beating of Interlocking Hearts. And he's a druid, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I
Alright.
suppose I shall go next. I'm Logan, obviously. I'm gonna be playing a Vidalcan wizard with a background of sage.
Nerd.
Be nice! I don't want any fighting between you two. Got it?
I don't see that working very well, Dad.
I don't want fighting between any of you. We're all here to have a good time and play a game together.
You are aware that D&D involves, like, fighting as, like, a mechanic, right?
Besides that,
Okay. V, do you want to go?
I mean, I guess I can. Well, I'm Virgil, and, I'm playing, do I have to?
yes.
That would be lovely if you could.
I'm playing Tempest Darksbane.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm playing Tempest Darksbane.
I think that's a really cool name, Virgil.
It's a super cool name.
What a lovely name that is.
It does seem to line up with all other choices your character makes.
Okay. Well, he's a fighter. He's an elf. What else am I supposed to say here?
That can cover it for now if you want.
Cool. I'm going with that.
Alright, and then that leaves Deceit.
That would leave me, yes. I'm Deceit. I am playing a Wanty named Zoskle, and she's a rogue.
Alright, awesome. So, any questions before we get into this?
This won't interfere with the rest of the schedule, right?
No, I don't think it will.
It won't!
Nope, it won't. I'm sure of it.
Good.
Alright, anyone else?
Is Deceit allowed to lie about his role?
Deceit is not allowed to lie about his roles. I have a way of making sure of it.
Alright.
It's not like I was going to, anyway.
Well,
Obviously.
thank you. I'm glad that you're honest about that.
Anything for you, Roman.
Alright, well then, without further ado, I welcome you into the Imagination. We open our story with a wide camera shot of the division of Brist, slowly zooming into the western section of the division bordering the sea. As the camera comes into focus, we find ourselves in the middle of a bustling street close to the harbor, which is crowded with sailors and tradesmen. Looking out across the bay, we see the sun beginning to set upon the vast, unmarred horizon, hints of red and gold glittering across the clear, dark blue waves. It is a picture-perfect sight. At least upon first glance. Looking closer, it is revealed the bustling streets seem to be quickly emptying, the sailors finishing offloading their ships before quickly disappearing into inns and taverns for the evening. The disappearing crowds isn't what worries us, though. There's an evening curfew here in Brist, after all. No, what really is troubling here is the individuals who seem to be in no hurry to head home. Those dressed in dark colors, allowing them to slip in and out of the shadows of night. Often the roguish type who make their living here by stealing and other nefarious acts. This unease is alleviated somewhat by the other type of people just coming out for the evening. The guardsmen of Brist, and their dark blue uniform and imposing air. Typically ex-Navy members or other skilled fighters, opposing them rarely ends well for their adversary. Which is why any of those still left on the street should find a safe place to stay for the night. You happen to be part of this crowd, as a traveler with no place specifically to go, which is how you find yourself in front of the Seaport Tavern and Inn. A medium-sized wooden building, dimly lit from the inside by candlelight, and through the window you can see a roaring fire in the hearth found in the main room. The establishment looks well enough kept, cozy, and inviting. Upon entering the building, you are greeted by two doors. To the left is a door leading into the main room of the inn, and to the right, an open doorway to the loud and bustling tavern. You can smell booze from even out here. Who would like to go first?
How do you spell Brist?
It's a good question. B-R-I-S-T.
Good to know. Notes are accurate. Oh, I suppose I shall go first.
Alright.
I will enter the main room, I suppose. Alcoholics aren't usually the best to ask for information, so I'll enter the room to the left, the main room.
Alright. Upon walking into the door on the left, you are greeted by the warmth of a fire in the moderately sized room. Directly in front of you, a middle-aged woman is sitting at a large oak desk, reading an old novel. She doesn't look up to greet you. Behind her is a wall of keys with numbers atop them, and a smaller table stocked with papers neatly organized. To the right of the desk is a wide staircase to the second floor. On either side of it, on the ground floor, is a hallway lined with doors, each having a number on it. Next to the door is a small green couch with matching green chairs all around a coffee table. They look soft and inviting. What do you do?
I'm going to approach the old woman. Wait, actually, can I roll perception on the room?
Yeah, roll perception.
That is a 14.
With a 14, you notice that this entire, area is, dead quiet. Which is weird because next door there's a tavern, and taverns typically are incredibly loud. And you also notice that there's practically no one around.
Okay, now I will approach the old woman.
Alright.
Hello, miss. It's very quiet.
She doesn't look up at you and just nods.
Is there a reason for that?
Are you asking in character or out of character?
I'm asking in character. I want to know, and so does Nicole.
Everyone is over at, the tavern. It's not that late at night, and, typically the people that stay here are sailors, so...
Do you have any books that I may read while I wait?
Wait for what, dear?
Interesting conversation. People that bear stories of travel.
Okay, I guess suit yourself. And she turns around and she looks at the stack of papers and everything else behind her, and she sets her own book down on it, and she sits there kind of wondering for a minute. And then she turns back around and reaches under the desk and pulls out what looks like a history book, and she hands it to you. Do you think this would be any of interest to you?
This is wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to go sit on one of the chairs.
Alright. Would anyone else like to enter?
I'll do it.
Alright. Same choice to you. You either have the door on your left or the door on your right.
I'm gonna go to the door on the right.
You walk into the open doorway on the right, and you are immediately greeted by the smell of strong alcohol and a cloud of smoke that you had not previously recognized. To the right, there is a long bar, with seats filled by mostly sailors, though a few common folk are here too. The rest of the bar is filled with tables and booths where patrons are loudly talking, drinking, and playing games with one another. You notice that most patrons here are men, and that the few females that are here either look incredibly strong or is dressed as women of the night. The barkeep pays you no mind as you enter, and only a few patrons even look up to see you. There are a couple empty seats at the back of the bar, and 3 open tables in the back. Where do you sit? What do you do?
Can I see if I can actually join in on one of those games?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if they'll let me play with them.
Alright, there's, as you walk in, there's, 2 tables, directly, kitty-corner to each other, and they both have a game going on. One of them seems to be playing some sort of card game, and the other one, you can't exactly tell what it is, but they aren't playing with any sort of cards or chips or anything else. They seem to be playing a game of what you can overhear is daring each other to do things? You aren't quite sure.
I'll join that game.
Alright, you walk over, and it's a table of 6 or 7 people, and they're all of varying races, and they all, except for one, they're all male.
I saddle on up and I say, "Hello there! My name is Hart. Can I play with you?"
One of the players looks over at you and just kind of gives you a look, because you did just sit down at a table where there was an established group and just insert yourself into the conversation. But he looks at you and he gives you a soft smile. Hello there. My name is Edmund. I'm a sailor, and I suppose you could join us. He kind of looks over at everyone else playing, and they just kind of shrug, and they're sure. So you are allowed to play with them.
Great. I'm making friends already.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say we're friends quite yet, but I can assume that you're new here in Brist.
Mm-hmm. I just got here.
Alright. So, what brings you here?
Oh, just travels.
Just travels. Huh. You're one of those. I can't say I blame you. Brist tends to be a center point for everyone's travels. Regardless, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So they kind of continue around the table, and they basically, from what you've gathered, they're going back and forth, asking each other truth or dare. And from what you've gathered, truth isn't an option that people pick. Everyone has chosen dare, and you are witness to this group doing a bunch of really wild things. From drinking, to asking people out. It's definitely a game that's not familiar to you.
Well, it seems fun. I'm having fun.
I will leave you there for the time being.
Great.
V or Deceit, do you want to join?
Absolutely.
I will give you same 2 options, but I will also give you a 3rd option to already be in the tavern if you wish.
She probably is in the tavern at this point.
So, you find yourself in the tavern. Where are you sitting and what are you doing?
I am probably sitting at least a little bit closer to the new tabaxi that just walked in.
Are you playing games, or are you just sitting and people watching?
Definitely playing some sort of game.
Alright. Are you playing cards, or are you playing this game of truth or dare?
I'm playing cards with someone with my own deck.
Okay. I can only assume because you want to rig it, don't you?
Why would I do that? Oh, Roman, you really do assume the worst in people sometimes.
I mean, can you really blame me?
Have you chosen to sit next to the tabaxi because snakes are a natural predator of cats, or am I the only one that noticed that?
Yeah, you are.
Logan,
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're playing in a fictional world. There's lots of different races, and saying that, all cats hate snakes, that isn't That's not necessarily true.
I'm asking if deceit chose it because of that.
What you don't know can't hurt you.
Oh, it certainly
It's a
can,
yes or no
actually. There's
question.
several interesting psychological studies on it that I could bring up.
That's okay, Lo.
Logan, we're playing a game here, bud.
It's not a fun game if they can't bring up psychological studies.
There will be a time and a place. Right now is not that time or place. Alright, so, deceit. You are sitting at a table with 3 other patrons, but you're only playing a card game against one of them. It is, someone that you have already previously known. Their name is Blaine, and you know that they are a Goliath. They are quite tall, and so you are definitely keeping your cards very close to your chest, because otherwise they would probably be able to see them.
Oh, of course.
I want to have you roll something here, because I feel like if you were trying to pull something over on this Goliath friend of yours, that there has to be something for you to contest.
If they are trying to pull something over, that would either be a roll of cards versus insight, or deceit versus insight.
Yeah, I think, it's definitely I'm definitely rolling insight, but roll...
I swear if you say.
No. I'm not gonna say roll deceit. That's not...
Roll deception.
That's not... Yeah, roll deception.
Of course.
Okay, you might not have to. But go ahead.
Alright. That's a 4 plus the modifier of 9. I only have a 13.
Did you say you only have a 13?
Hmm?
Yeah, I know that they have a super high modifier. Hey, so I rolled a nat 1. You are really good at cards! Blaine kind of looks at you, like, really confused, because, like, this is, like, the 6th or 7th hand that he's, like, lost to you, like, in a row. Like, he doesn't know how this is happening. He is definitely the silent type, but you win yet another hand against him, and he, like, hands you, like, 3 or 4, no, he hands you exactly 2 gold coins.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave that where it is. V, do you want to come and join us?
Alright.
Yes, you do.
Alright, yes I do.
Alright. Now, I am giving you the same 3 options that I offered Deceit, because you already know Brist.
Well, on the one hand, I do want to get really, really drunk, because I'm not a fan of this. But on the other hand, Deceit is in the tavern, which I guess is what would lead me to get really, really drunk. I'm in the tavern.
Alright, so you find yourself in the tavern, yet again, which, I mean, isn't an uncommon occurrence. You are a sailor, you spend a lot of time here, this is where you work, and this is where you spend most of your evenings. You definitely have quite a few drinking buddies. So
Yeah.
basically, anywhere you sit in this tavern, you'll know someone. So, where are you sitting? Are you sitting at the bar? Are you sitting at a table? Are you playing games?
I'm probably gambling, I think.
You are sitting at at one of the tables that is playing a card game, of course, not this Truth or Dare game that you have definitely played before, but I don't think it's your style. You are sitting at one of the booths, and there's a couple players here with you. You know all but one of them. There's 3 other people playing with you. And you are... I don't know, what are you playing? What are you gambling?
Maybe poker?
Okay. So you're playing poker. Are you cheating in any sort of way, or are you playing fair and square?
I'm playing fair. I play games fairly, okay? Not an accusation, but I'm a person who plays games the way they're supposed to be played.
Alright, can I have you roll a wisdom check?
Sure. 16.
Yeah, you notice that one of the people you're playing against, he's definitely cheating. You don't know how he's cheating, but he's won a couple times now, and they're in ways that you shouldn't be winning. So something tips you off that...
Is he the one I don't recognize?
It is the one that you don't recognize.
What's he look like?
He's a fire genasi. He's around 6'2". He's got this like super short, like red hair. He's got this very like distant look in his eye, and you can definitely tell that this is one of the people here who's not a sailor.
Maybe I lean forward towards him, make eye contact, say, "You're really good at this." I can't do it.
Yes, you can be. I believe in
You
you.
do it. Don't worry. You're doing a great job.
I don't know.
V, the purpose of Dungeons & Dragons is to forget yourself. You will not be judged for any actions here.
Alright, okay, you're right. Here we go. I notice you're very good at this.
He kind of just looks at you for a minute, and he kind of like raises an eye, like he doesn't think you've caught on yet, but he's still pretty confident in his abilities. But he puts his cards face down, and he like kind of folds his hands over them, and he looks you dead in the eye, and he says, "What about it?"
I was just wondering if you had any experience with this. I am always looking to learn from fellow players, and you seem to have luck aplenty.
Well, I mean, let's call it just that, luck. I mean, I'm a traveler. I have a lot of practice, though. I mean, granted, again, you must too. You're a sailor. How many nights do you spend here playing poker?
Not a lot. What of it?
Clearly it shows. I mean, I'm beating you pretty handily.
Well, care to have any of that luck rub on off?
What are you implying?
What? I'm not implying anything. I find it very interesting the way you manage to win every single time.
You can't be. I forgive my boldness here, but are you implying that I, of all people, am cheating?
What? No, never. I would never do such a thing. Oh my goodness. Did I say that? I did not say that. I must have sounded so rude. I apologize. No. By all means, carry on.
Alright. And he picks back up his cards, and you play another round, and he wins again.
Can I watch his hands?
Yeah, you can watch him. Roll another perception check.
5.
I'm gonna say take advantage on this because you knew he cheated before.
Okay, thank you. 14.
Okay, that does it. Yeah, he definitely cheated again. He did not take any sort of warning to the fact that you were basically accusing him of cheating, and he just did it again.
Can you try and bluff? Is that like a thing you can do? Is that allowed?
That would be... What'd that be?
Deception.
Yeah, deception. So yeah, roll charisma.
Okay. Alright. 14.
You pass. What are you going to bluff about?
I saw that. I saw what you did there.
He looks like aghast. He's like, "What did you see? I don't know what you're talking about."
That hand. The way you moved that hand. Don't think I didn't notice that.
I don't know what you're talking about. And at this point, the other two people playing with you have like, because you've caused like such a fuss about this, they're kind of like onto this guy too, and they're like, they will back you up about this, but they put their cards down, like they will not play anymore until this whole thing is resolved. But they are kind of just sitting there watching you two. And this Genasi, he kind of looks a little bit nervous, and he puts his own cards down, and he gives you a small smile, and he's like, maybe this is where I call my evening. It's been lovely playing with you folks, but I think it's my time to go.
I lean forward across the table a little bit more, and I say, "Listen, I understand you're a traveler, so I'm not trying to cause trouble where there's no trouble to be caused, but let me give you a warning. You are in the realm of sailors. Sailors and travelers and good doers and brisk. And we don't cheat. I want to make that very clear."
Roll intimidation.
Not one.
He looks at you, and he looks at you like you're a joke to him. Oh, sweetie. You think I don't know how things work here in Brist? I may be a traveler, but I have certainly spent my fair time, like, here at the docks. I know you don't cheat, and I would never cheat. So, I don't see what problem we have here. And he stands up, and he pushes the cards that were on the table towards you, and he starts to pick up his money.
I just watch him. I don't say anything.
The other two players at the table, they kind of give you a look, and as they watch him get ready to leave, why wouldn't you continue to pursue this? But aside from that, nothing's really said. And so this Fire Genasi takes his money, and he heads to the bar, and he buys himself a drink. And he sits there, away from you.
I smile.
Alright. And so the other two players that you're with, they pick back up their cards, and do you continue to play?
Sure, but I'm watching the guy.
So you're keeping an eye on the guy, but you two, well, the three of you are now playing poker with one another, and nothing else seems out of the ordinary with your game. You win some, you lose some, and at the end of the night, you don't really have as much, like, you guys weren't betting too much, but you definitely have a little bit more than you had when you started. So you've got about like four gold pieces that you have acquired.
Alright. Should I keep going? Is that okay?
I mean, if you want to, yeah, you can.
Alright. I stand up. I guess I say pretty loudly, I nobly took these earnings, and by the way, it was such a good time playing with you two. Thank you so much for this game. It was so fun to play with Valor, really, I think. And I think I should spread that joy. And I turn around to the bar and say, is there anyone who wants a drink on me?
Oh, okay, so you want to buy the entire bar around?
I just want to buy one person around. I don't know if anyone is particularly craving it.
The guy that the Fire Genasi from before doesn't really pay you any mind. Like, he knows you're pulling a whole fuss about this, but he's not having any of your nonsense. Does anyone else in the bar from the party want to take up this offer?
My character takes a look and she stands up.
I guess I nod. It's a her, right?
Mm-hmm.
I nod at her. I buy her a drink. How much is it?
Well, you know that, like, this is one of the taverns that's, like, they're okay. They're more for the company than, like, the actual drink. So it's only 1 gold piece, but it's not the best alcohol.
Alright, I buy us both a drink.
So do you two sit at a table together? Do you guys go back to your respective games?
I guess I go over with whatever she's doing.
I'm just playing a few card games, but I could take a break.
Listen, there's this guy over there. I don't know his name or who he is, but he's a weird figure.
Oh? What do you think's weird about him?
Well, I've been around here for quite some time, and I haven't seen him. And all he's been doing the whole night long is, cheating and lying, and something's up with him. And more importantly, I just don't trust him.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awful. People shouldn't cheat in this tavern. That's a horribly disagreeable practice.
Hey, D.
Hmm?
Roll, deception.
Of course.
And, V, roll
27.
Jesus!
In case you're still wondering, the word that you wanted, Roman, was insight.
Yeah, I did, but V, I love you, but I don't know how much an insight roll is gonna do for you.
I'm gonna make the insight roll, and I'm gonna get a nat 20. 13.
Yeah, that's not enough to beat a 27. You take her word at face value. This is a trustworthy person.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Ridiculous. Anyone who does that deserves, well. Anyway, I'm sure it'll never come up again. I just found it rather odd. Wanted to share it with someone.
Oh, of course. You can share anything you'd like with me.
Why, thank you. It's so nice to have a friendly face in this place. Yeah.
Roll history real quick.
Okay. 17.
Okay. You realize as you're talking to this person, you have never met them before either. This seems to be a very odd night for you as you're kind of looking around a little bit, and you definitely realize that there's a couple of faces you don't recognize, which is kind of abnormal for you. But, like, the person that you're talking to right now is definitely not from around here.
You, actually come to think of it, a lot, maybe there's some sort of a party going on, because they must be great, some of these people, I swear. Many of these, I've never... Do you know these people?
No, I don't really think so. I haven't even been here before, really.
Well, what brings you?
No, I don't know. Just thought I'd come around and explore the town.
Just because?
Yeah, I've been meaning to travel quite a few places.
Do you think we should go up to them? Maybe say something?
That's your call.
Well, I'm always looking forward to a new friendly face, so why not?
Of course.
Go over to the nearest party. Greetings, travelers.
You find yourself, you were sitting over where you've met your new friend, and, the next table over is where they're playing a game of Truth or Dare. And you recognize a fair amount of the people here, because, I mean, they're regulars. But you see one definitely different person, and sitting in the group is a tabaxi.
That's me.
Yeah, yes, Patton, that is you.
I like that guy. The other people I'm suspicious, but I like that guy.
You know these other people. Maybe not super well, but...
Wait, I said I walk over to the group, the first group of strangers that I see.
Oh, well, I mean, like, you've definitely seen them here before, but
okay.
You haven't talked with them. So they're slight strangers to you, but they're not as abnormal as this tabaxi.
That's me.
You don't see a whole ton of tabaxi here in Brist, so it's definitely an abnormal sight for you.
Alright. I guess I just go over and say hello then.
That's me. Hi.
Hello! What brings you here?
Oh, travels. I'm trying to see as many places as I possibly can.
Well, that's a valiant mission.
I just think exploring is fun.
Well, many people tend to think so, I suppose.
It's meeting new people, making new friends, you know?
Yeah, sure. Whatever, floats your boat.
My name is Hart. It's nice to meet you.
Greetings, Hart, and I take, his hand, and I shake it really, really strong.
You have a great handshake.
Thank you. I have been perfecting it over the years from the many people I have socialized with. My name is Tempest. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Tempest.
This is so cute.
Shut up.
I'm sorry, you're being precious. I love you, V. You're doing great.
You're doing really well.
I do believe this is what Thomas would normally call wholesome content.
Yes. I mean, you're meeting at a bar, but, like, wholesome.
Hey, what's, Naggle doing?
I'm reading my history book.
Okay, you do that.
Logan's character is not in the bar. He's over at the inn section of things, just sitting there in basically the main room, just reading.
Do I now get advantage on history checks about Brist because I read the history book?
You know what? Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. So I basically, anything, not like anything, but like when it comes to knowing things about Brist, both you and V will get advantages. You because you've read history books, and V gets advantage because they're from here. So V, you introduce yourself to this tabaxi friend, and you now know that their name is Hart. Is there anything else that you'd like to have a conversation with them about?
Well, I haven't met Hart, right?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I asked them. By the way, is there some sort of well, I know you're a lone traveler, but have you met any of these people? Because it seems like an unusual crowd for the bar tonight.
No, I came here alone.
Alright.
Keep your secrets.
Well, never mind. It was a pleasure to meet you, Hart.
Nice to meet you too.
I guess I go back to the sea.
Have you asked what Deceit's name is? Do you know?
Not, and I don't particularly mind that I haven't.
Okay.
walked over to you and is watching you have a little conversation.
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
I'm just observing.
I guess I turn to you when I'm done. What, do you have anywhere to be?
Not really.
Great. I mean, well, it's, wonderful to be in your companionship. I really, must say.
Oh, the same to you, dear.
Well, Roman, what's happening around the bar?
At the physical, like, bar that's, like, towards the front of the room, the barkeep there, Dimitri, is, he's pouring drinks and he's making some light conversation with some of the patrons sitting there. You can definitely notice that a couple people here are already definitely drunk. And, which is really kind of odd because in a town full of sailors, you'd think, like, loose lips, like, sink ships, but, like, apparently, no one here particularly cares. There's a couple that would totally give out, like, any sort of secrets that they had upon someone asking. But there's a couple of patrons over the bar. There's a few other folks who are playing games towards the front. They continue to be card games and games of truth or dare. And in the sides where there's booths, there's a couple of darker hidden figures that are just there talking.
And I haven't seen them before?
There's maybe one or two you haven't seen before, but they just seem to be wearing, like, heavy clothes from some of the other divisions, and they're just travelers. There's nothing particularly weird about them. They're just in for the night.
What other divisions?
You definitely, there's definitely clothes that you don't recognize. Actually, roll a history check.
I get advantage on that, right?
They're not from Brist, so no.
3.
Okay. You can definitely tell they're from another division, you just don't know which one.
Okay. None I've been in, though, right?
No. You haven't been there.
Alright, that's fine. You know what? I buy myself another drink.
Alright. You head over to the bar, and you give Dimitri a look. Question, do you have a tab here, or do you always pay up front?
I pay up front.
Okay. So you give Dimitri a little nod, and he comes over, and he pours you a drink, and you hand him a gold piece, and you take your drink, and there's that.
Okay. I drink my troubles away, I guess.
Are you sitting at the bar, like, permanently now?
Sure, yeah, whatever.
Alright. So, you're sitting at the bar, and basically anytime you finish a glass, you like, double tap it on the counter, and Dimitri comes back over, and he refills your glass, as long as you keep paying him. So, yeah, you definitely, you drink a bit. In the meantime, hey D, what are you up to?
The tabaxi that V was talking to. I've probably started up a conversation with them.
That's me.
Yes, that is you, Patton.
No, I don't think that is you.
Oh.
I've never seen the tabaxi before in my life.
Oh, you're lying. Okay, yeah, no. You have. They're sitting right in front of you, my dear.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. Hi.
Hi.
So, what might your name be?
Well, I'm Hart.
Nice to meet you, Hart.
Nice to meet you too. What's your name?
Absolutely my pleasure to make your acquaintance. You can call me Zass.
Zass?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you too.
It is at this moment. Are you just standing by Hart, or have you sat down for this?
Well, if they're in the middle, intrude, so I'll just stand close by. Observe.
Okay, I mean, you can sit and observe if you want to, but, like...
I think I'm fine.
Alright, so you're just kind of standing over them, and, just watching them play, and you overhear some of the dares that everyone's taking, and all of this nonsense, but you don't feel inclined to join them. I can't imagine why, on a side note, but you don't feel inclined to join them in their game of truth or dare, and so you just sit there and watch. And it's at this time that, out of the corner of your eye, you notice one of the few females in the bar, and she's casually walking over to you. She's kind of tall, definitely not as tall as you. She's about 5'6" or so, and she comes walking over to you, and she definitely looks a little bit taller than she should, and you realize it's because she's wearing thigh-high heeled boots, and that is roll in insight.
23.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah, so you first thing you notice is the height of this person and their boots, and then your eyes travel up, and you realize that this woman is wearing, not a whole ton. She's wearing an incredibly short skirt. Phrasing it nicely, she's wearing the outfit of a woman of the night. And you also notice that huh?
Oh, that's what that means.
Yes. Oh, I forgot Patton was playing for a moment. I'll explain it later to you, Dad.
No, I figured it out.
Okay. I don't know if I want to know how you know that. But you also notice that this woman is an elf. And she comes over and she stands just slightly behind you and puts an arm on your shoulder. And she leans in and she smiles at you. Hey there, beautiful.
Hi. What brings you into town?
Oh, I'm normally just around, waiting for someone to, I don't know, change things up.
I don't know what I might be able to change for you, but...
Well, I mean, as you can see, we're surrounded by men. I have to say, they aren't always my taste.
I mean, it's oddly understandable on my end.
She just kind of keeps looking at you, and she's like, you know, how rude of me. I never introduced myself. My name is Lucy.
Lucy? Pretty name.
Thank
I'm
you.
Clay.
A pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You do seem quite enthralled by this game here at hand, but maybe I could steal a moment of your time?
I don't know. I've been oddly busy as of late, but I'll see what we can do.
She giggles, and she takes you by the hand, and she leads you out of the tavern and into the inn. And so long as you don't challenge her, she takes you willingly, I'm assuming?
Of course. I wouldn't resist, I suppose.
Alright, so you walk out of the bar, and you walk into the main room. You walk in, and you notice you immediately notice the person across the way sitting at a large oak desk, reading her book, and you also notice someone else sitting in this room, which is kind of weird, but they're just sitting on the green couch, also reading a book, and it's a little odd. Do either of you say anything to each other?
I'm not going to start a conversation. I'm very invested in my book.
Of course you are.
My character's going to go up and say a quick hello.
Alright, so for you realize that you should... It's weird enough for you to take a moment to pause from what's happening right now and take a moment to speak with this different person. And so you kind of motion to Lucy that you'll be just a minute, and you walk over to talk to this Vidalkin, and just sitting here reading.
I'm going to close my book and look up at her. May I help you?
No, I was just, curious as to what book you're reading.
This is a book on the history of Brest.
You'll have to either tell me where you got it or lend it to me sometime. I need to learn a little more about my way around here.
It was lent to me by the sweet woman at the desk.
I'll have to ask her for it. Either way, you take care. I've got an appointment. She waves and she walks back to Lucy.
Alright.
He
Lucy
definitely wrinkles his nose.
Yeah, Lucy is kind of watching this
Does he
conversation
have
between
a
you
nose?
two.
Do Vedalkins have noses?
Yes,
I
I
don't
think.
believe they do. I believe that's one of the primary features of Vedalkins. Unimportant. We'll figure it out later.
Make me look up what your character class is. Of course you would make me do research. Yeah, I don't know. You've got kind of like a Voldemort kind of nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, you kind of like scrunch it up and like, I'm assuming disgust a little bit, but it looks a little weird. Cause like, there's not, you definitely know it's in disgust and it's like a nose like scrunch up, but like the idea gets across.
I only do it after Zascalate turns away anyway.
Lucy definitely sees it because she's just standing there with kind of like her hand on her hip and it's kind of popped, and she's looking at the two of you having this conversation, and she's kind of smiling, and she winks when Zaz turns away to come back and join her. And so she takes Zaz's hand, and the two of you head upstairs to what you assume is her room, and she pulls out a key and unlocks the door. And she leads you inside. Now, I'm gonna keep this PG because, we don't need to do that. So I'm going to assume, unless you tell me otherwise, that this is where you spend your evening.
I have nowhere else to be.
Alright. So that leaves us with... I'm gonna leave you there for the evening. As the night continues on, the bar... There's times it gets a little bit more rowdy, when everyone's, like, just getting drunk, and then, like, as the night continues on, it gets a little quieter as, a lot of the people head out back to the inn section of things and head in for the night. The two of you that are still over at the bar, do you call it early, or do you stay as long as you can?
I don't really have anywhere else to be, I guess. And kind of just watch people scatter out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. It's like, I don't really have anywhere else to go.
Alright. So, the two of you spend most of your evening here. Hart, you're playing this Truth or Dare game with some of the people at the table, and you lose a couple players as they head out for the evening, because, I mean, some of them have work in the morning. So they head out and they bid you a good evening. But you just continue playing, and, Tempest, you're at the bar and you're drinking, and you're getting to that point where you're definitely feeling it. And it gets to be a little past midnight, and, the barkeep is getting a little done serving drinks. Tempest, you know that around, like, 1 o'clock, this dude, like, calls it. He's like, that is it. I know most of you have work in the morning. So he cuts all of you off. So the night winds down, and, it gets to be around 12:45. And there's only maybe 2 or 3 handfuls of people around at this point. Hart, the folks that you've been playing with, there's only 2 left aside from you playing, and it's a couple, and they decide that they're gonna call their evening here. And they smile and bid you a good night, and they hope that they see you again at some point, and they head over, and you are left alone.
Oh, that's kind of sad. I'm sad to be alone.
Actually, since the bar's quieter now, I think that I'll go there.
Alright. So it's about 12:45, so like they're still serving drinks if you wanted to get one, but you stand up from your couch and you've been watching the people come over, and you can definitely smell the the booze that like they reek of. But you head over to the bar, and you walk into the sight of a couple stragglers, just some of them finishing up their drinks, others playing their last round of cards, and it's definitely a lot quieter now.
Alright, well that's okay. He can stand that. He's gonna look around for anyone Anyone that looks interesting, really. That looks smart.
I'm one of those things.
The two people that probably most... Well, there's a couple of people that catch your eye. There's a tabaxi now sitting at a table by themselves. Over at the bar, there is a couple of sailors, and Tempest, you kind of blend into the sailor crowd, but you notice a couple people here and there. There's a fire genasi who's now sitting like in the back corner, but he's keeping to himself. He's not playing any sort of cards anymore. So yeah, that's the room.
Fire Genasi looks interesting.
You can go over and talk to him if you'd like.
I'll go over and talk to him.
Alright. So you head over, and he's kind of going through the cards that he has, like, in his pocket, and he's sorting through some of the money that he has in front of him. And he kind of looks up at you as you walk over, because it's a relatively empty bar, so anyone coming over to talk to him is a little bit weird. But he kind of gives you a look, and he says, "What do you want?"
Interesting conversation. Would you happen to have it?
Sorry, probably not. Though I will say I had a rather, I don't want to say quite insulting, but interesting conversation with one of the fellows at the bar over there, and he points over at Tempest.
Oh?
Yeah, fella accused me of cheating, here in Brist. What kind of person does he think that I am, right?
Were you cheating?
Of course not. Roll a perception. Insight. That's the right thing.
So... Nat 1!
This guy? Totally being honest. You yourself now believe that, like, it's insane that whoever this sailor is thought that this dude was cheating, because, like, this guy's an honest guy. You're frankly slightly insulted for him.
Wonderful.
I have not noticed this whatsoever.
No, you are drinking. You're paying more attention to a couple of your buddies that are around the bar and Dimitri to pay any attention to this.
I look like in my drunken state, like exactly the type of person who would accuse someone of cheating for no reason.
But this Genasi looks at you, Logan, and he gives you like a knowing smile that, like, yeah, you get it, and he's like, I'm about to head in for the night, but I mean, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Would you like to play a round?
Of cards?
Of course. What else?
Sure. What do you want to play?
How does poker sound?
Sounds wonderful. Take a seat. I don't mind increasing my winnings a little bit here. So he deals out the cards for poker. Trying to think how I want this to go. Yeah, so he deals out the cards, and you guys start playing. And before you guys can finish your first hand, he's like, by the way, how much are we betting on this?
How does 5 silver pieces sound?
Sounds alright. Didn't stand to gain that much, that's for sure. And he's totally smug and confident about this.
Bastard.
So, yeah, you reach the end of this hand, and, he wins.
Interesting. Another, if you wouldn't mind indulging me.
He raises an eye, but he nods, and he deals out the cards again. And, I'm assuming same bet?
Yes.
Alright. And so you guys play another round of cards.
This time I want to watch him.
Alright. You're watching him, and you don't notice anything too tremendously odd, but he wins again.
You're very good at this. Where did you learn?
Thanks. You're, not the only one to tell me that tonight. I just picked it up along my travels. I've been a lot of places, so...
A traveler?
I'm assuming you are as well?
I am, recently.
Well, welcome to the life, my friend.
What knowledge have you gained?
Well, that's a rather, philosophical question you have there, mate. What knowledge have I gained? I mean, I now know the world's super big, and, people get super upset about you when you win at cards, especially here in Brist, but, I mean, I don't know quite what you're asking me.
Well, that seems like quite a waste of travel to learn that little.
I'm not in it for the information, my friend. I'm in it for the adventure, for the joy, for the fun.
What fun do you gain that doesn't involve information?
All of it? I mean, information, don't get me wrong, is sure great and all, but there is way more to life than just knowing things.
Explain.
There's these magical things called, feelings.
I am aware of them!
You're a interesting fellow, aren't you?
I have been told that.
I mean, yeah, there's feelings like joy and happiness, and I mean, I guess, do you get joy from, your travels and the research, I'm assuming you do?
I do when I learn new information.
Well, I mean, I guess if that's what it does for you, then good for you. I mean, travel's different for every person, so I guess your pursuit of knowledge is just fine by me.
You are strange.
I could say the same thing about you. I mean, pardon my rudeness here, but you are definitely not the type that would seem to be in a place like this.
I made sure to only come when most patrons left.
How, good of you, I guess?
I'm not a fan of drinking.
I can imagine, with your, whole pursuit of knowledge thing, maybe that's an experience that you don't want to learn from. But this has been lovely. He kind of, like, collects, the cards, and he takes his money. I think I'm gonna head out for the evening, but it's been interesting talking with you.
It was interesting to meet you too.
So, he takes his stuff, and he stands up, and, he heads next door, over to the inn.
I'm going to take out my notebook and jot down that people travel for things other than knowledge.
Can I notice him leaving?
Yeah. Even your state, I mean, you've noticed the couple of people that left, but, like, this dude is, like, he's not super tall, but he's tall, and so you notice him when he leaves, and he's pretty brightly colored, all things considered, and, he's got, like, a giant, like, pouch of, like, money with him at this point. So you definitely take notice to him as he walks past you.
Alright. I turn to him, like grab him like on the shoulder maybe, say, "Hey! I just want with you. Good night, Cedar."
He pauses, and as you, like, put your hand on his shoulder, and he kind of pulls away from you, and he gives you a look, and then he realizes just how drunk you are at the moment, and just kind of smiles and nods at you, and he's like, "Good evening to yourself." And he turns away from you, and he heads to leave.
Can I follow him?
I mean, yeah!
Wait.
He doesn't wait. He keeps walking next door.
I try to follow, but I'm really drunk.
Yeah, at this point, he's definitely, like, 10, 20 steps ahead of you. He's booking it. He clearly, like, checked in and stuff before, so he's got his key, and he's, like, he has a place to be, and it's not anywhere by you. At this point, you're kind of, you followed him to, like, the lobby, basically, and he's already, like, dashed upstairs to, like, where his room, you assume, is, and so you're just kind of here in the lobby.
Okay, good night.
The woman who's at the desk, notices you come in, and she kind of looks up from her book, and she just, like, shushes you, because it's, like, almost 1 a.m.
I turn to her. I'm like, hey lady! You know that guy?
Sir, I have to say that you must be quiet. It is night hours, and there are patrons here trying to sleep.
Alright. Hey lady, you know that guy?
Yes, I do. He gave his name when you checked in, but I am not allowed to give out that information. I am terribly sorry.
Are you?
Who am I? My name is Lydia. I'd say it's a pleasure to meet you, but clearly you, we've met before. You know this, right, Tempest?
Oh, yeah. Lydia, right.
Yeah, I'm assuming you want your, normal room?
Yeah.
She kind of nervously chuckles, and she turns around to the wall of keys behind her, and she grabs one, and she hands it to you. Alright, just try and keep it down, please.
I, start walking up the stairs. You got it!
And she kind of looks up at you, and she's like, Tempest, your room is on the first floor.
Uh-huh. I keep walking.
She takes a deep breath, and she doesn't get paid enough for this nonsense, so she picks back up her book, and she starts reading again. She's used to this nonsense at this point from you. Do you eventually head to your room? Or do you just continue to wander the halls?
I think I just wander around until I happen to get, to my room, and then oh, I know this place.
Alright. And so I'm assuming you retire for the evening?
Yeah.
Okay. So Patton and Logan, you two are left over at the tavern.
I'm gonna
Soon to be
talk
almost
to
one now, so.
I'm gonna go talk to the tabaxi.
Alright. You stand up from where you were sitting after your game of cards, and you notice that a couple more people have cleared out at this point, and some of them with less commotion than others. But you notice the tabaxi that's still here, and they're sitting by themselves still, and you head over to them.
I've taken out my ukulele.
They have a ukulele, and they are quietly playing it.
Thank you.
Logan?
What?
That you've walked over to this tabaxi.
Yes,
Who's
I
playing
have.
a ukulele.
Fun.
You two can talk.
But I'm playing the ukulele.
I think I will just enjoy his performance for a minute until he is done.
Heart, are you singing as well, or are you just
No,
just
I'm
playing?
just playing.
This Vidalkin walks over from the corner and sits down at the table with you.
I glance up and I realize that there's someone listening, and I keep playing. Just for a little while, though.
You play for a little while, and they just sit there quietly watching you. And you finish up your song.
And then I smile at him and I say, "Hey there!
Hello. I am Nagol. Who would you be?
My name's Hart. It's nice to meet you."
It's pleasant to meet you too, Hart.
I would have started talking sooner, but I was, playing, and I wanted to keep playing because I was having fun.
It seemed like it. It is okay. I enjoyed your performance.
Oh, well, good. I'm happy you liked it.
People are happy to be complimented on ukulele.
Huh?
What? Oh, I'm taking notes on everything I learn.
Logan, I'm not sure if that's in character or out of character.
Yeah, I'm sitting here wondering too.
It's in character. Have I said something amusing?
Well, I mean, compliments usually make people happy. So,
Compliments in general make people happy.
I have to intervene in the scene real quick. In his travels, has Nagal never learned this before?
Nagal's a new traveler. Leave him alone. He's a new boy.
Is Brist the first place he's gone to?
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
Alright, you guys can continue your scene. I just had to ask.
I mean, he knew that it made Vidalkins happy, but he doesn't know how anyone else is yet.
Okay, that's reasonable.
You are a tabaxi, correct?
Yep. And I'm sorry, I don't know what you are.
A Vidalcan, a type of elf.
Oh, cool.
You seem like a traveler.
Well, I am, so I would hope I seem like one.
How long have you been traveling?
Oh shoot, a couple months? A few months, I think.
That is a long time. How many places have you visited?
Well, I'm mostly stuck around where I'm from. If I have to be completely honest, this is my first time in a bigger place.
Where are you from?
Mendelin?
Ah, that makes sense.
I kind of give off Mendelin vibes then.
Well, you are a tabaxi.
You're right, I am.
The barkeep. There's definitely at this point there's definitely like only a handful of people. There's you and like maybe 6 or 7 others. Not even that. But he's starting to head around to the tables and clean up a little bit, and anyone who's left, he's kind of motioning them for them to leave and head out for the night.
Oh, then I guess I'll head out for the night. It was nice meeting you, Hart.
You too. I hope we meet again sometime.
Me too.
Did the two of you walk out together, or
I guess.
do you?
I guess so, yeah.
Alright, so both of you head over to like the lobby area. And Tempest at this point is not heard from. But you walk over. Did either of you two check in before?
No.
No.
That would have
Alright.
been smart.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured you were gonna do when you first came in, but you decided to read instead. So both of you walk up to the counter, and the woman is sitting there, and she's still reading. She doesn't look up at either of you two when you come over.
I'd like to rent a room.
So would I.
She looks up, and her face kind of drops, like separate rooms.
Yes?
I am so terribly sorry, and I know with curfew and everything, it's a terrible thing. I only have one room left.
How many beds does it have?
It's one, but it's very large, and there's also a couch in like a little side room. I know it's not ideal, but I can make it both I can make it worth both of your whiles. I'm so terribly sorry. I will make it half price of the room altogether.
You need not apologize.
I'm okay with that.
Hart seems to have nothing to gain from harming me.
I definitely don't. I don't want to hurt anyone.
She smiles up at you two, and she turns around and grabs like the last key off the wall behind her, and she puts it out on the table in front of her. She's like, "There you go. I'll see you 2 in the morning. Hopefully this will work out just fine."
I'm
sure
see
it
why
will.
it wouldn't.
And you look at the key, and it says room 107 on it.
Well, then I guess we're going to room 107.
I guess so.
So the two of you walk down the halls, and you walk over to room 107, and you find the room with the same number as what is assigned to you on it, and you place it in the door's lock. The door opens pretty easily, and you are greeted by a rather humble room. In the far back left of the room is a washroom with a wall in front of it, and directly in front of that wall, there is a green sofa with a small glass table in front of it. On that table is a candle, which it's lit, and it's lighting up the seating area. On the opposite, like, half of the room, there is a plush bed against the middle of the wall. It has sheets of cotton with 2 fleece blankets underneath another knitted green one. Either side of the bed, there's a small dresser that's clearly carved of fine wood, and each one of them has several drawers. And both of these dressers have candles on them, lighting up this side of the room.
You can take the bed if you want to.
Are you sure?
I'm okay. You take it.
I will, thank you.
No problem.
Alright, I'm gonna take the bed, I guess.
Alright, so Nicole, you take the bed, and you get under the covers, and they are extremely comfortable.
Oh, I'm gonna give one of the covers to Hart.
Alright, you take off the blanket on top of it, which is like a knitted green blanket. It's definitely one of the warmer blankets, which leaves you with like 2 fleece ones on your bed. And you bring it over to Hart, and the couch isn't like a pull-out couch kind of situation. It's just a couch, but it's definitely comfortable. It's kind of like a crushed velvet-esque
Oh,
kind
nice.
of feel. So it's definitely comfortable, and there's like little side pillows on it and stuff. And so Nagal brings this green blanket over to you.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. Have a good night.
You too. Sleep well.
And it seems that, like, as soon as both of you are, like, settled into, like, bed and stuff, the candles that are on, like, the glass table in front of the couch and the candles by the on the dressers, they all of them go out, and it's dark in your room, and you head off to bed.
Yay! That's what you
Lovely.
say, right?
Oh, I'm not quite finished.
Usually the cause for fear.
I don't know what you're talking about, Logan. Yeah. So all of you at this point are in bed to varying. You're all in your rooms, whether or not you're asleep. Deceit is kind of up to you. You are set up for your evenings, and everything's quiet and still. And suddenly, you hear a shriek. It's tremendously loud, and it's not near any of your rooms. From what any of you can tell, it's coming from the main room.
I go out of my room and see what's up.
Alright. You're the first of the party to reach the source of the scream, and when you enter the main room, you can already see a group of people huddled by the entrance into the foyer. The innkeep is there, as well as several of the patrons you recognize from the bar earlier, including several of your sailor friends. You rush over and you push your way through the crowd. You're taller than most of the people here, so you only have to get past a few of the folks to see what, or rather who, everyone is gathered around. Lying on the ground with a silver dagger through his heart is someone you are horrified to realize you know. Dressed in the blue uniform you know well, but one much finer than your own, trimmed with gold and embroidered with a patch depicting a crown. At his side, a cutlass, still sheathed, is fixed, unused to defend himself. The unmistakable long braided hair and unshaven face, the eyes of green and blue, which are now glazed over. Your heart leaps in your chest as this realization hits you like a runaway horse. The body before you, once lively and boisterous, though now silent and still, is none other than your superior, Captain Eric of the Royal Bristol Navy.